All right, thanks all for being here. To start off with, first point is Orit's.
Yeah, so there was a point on the agenda to go through the current research issues. So I just wanted to update about the post-monitoring deployment. So I pretty much finished interviewing. I interviewed 5 people. 2 of them weren't that great. So we're trying to recruit another 2. The only question I have is regarding payment, because they've been bugging me about paying them. And I think Emily wanted to do that herself. So I don't know who I'm supposed to nag about that.
Emily, nag her. Yes. And it could have something to do with where they are. So which country or something like that. So if they weren't, I've seen some stuff come through, like some strange, I shouldn't say strange countries, but smaller countries that we don't really talk to people from that much, are more difficult to pay sometimes because they don't accept many forms of money except money. So
it was interesting because almost everyone that I had on the interviews said they were from the States, but I interviewed them at really odd times in the day, which made no sense for them to be in the States. And like some of them were like, yeah, it's COVID, so I'm in India, or all these weird things. I mean, we have Dimitri in Japan, so it could be that they're saying the truth, but I don't know. It seems really weird to me.
It could be that they were here on a visa that got revoked because they had to go home because
of Trump.
Yeah, or their contract got canceled. So if your contract work gets canceled, you don't get to keep your visa. So you have to go home immediately. So that may be part of it too.
Okay.
Yeah, good times.
Because it was like super strange, and these people had like heavy accents.
That's probably what it was.
Okay.
But I would bug Emily, just make sure she knows.
Well, I pinged her on the issue, so I think yesterday was Memorial Day, so I'm gonna give her some slack.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
All right, then on to the next topic. Next topic is on Mike Nichols being DRI a little bit longer for feature flags. Already discussed this with most people, but now Laurie is part of it as well. So as the work for feature flag is being pushed out a little, as I heard from Orit, and Mike has been involved in all the work that is currently still ongoing. Nadia helped me out a little bit here and said like it might make sense to keep Mike involved a little bit longer. So we set that in motion. So I have a meeting later today with Mike to go a little bit over the details. The idea should be that Mike will be involved in feature flags work that is already existing and scheduled in a way, or about to be scheduled. And I'll be taking on any feature flag work that is past that, but it will take a little bit of time before we can get to that, as I understood it.
Yeah, well, feature flag has been postponed, just so you know, not because of change in priority, it's just really going super slow with development. So to be realistic, I don't think we're going to achieve what we had planned.
Yeah, so things will be pushed out to Q3, right? Yep. All right. Thanks for that. And by the way, there's a Q3 issue. So thanks for that, Orit.
Yeah. Nadia, where are you at?
My forever going through the places. I'm with my sisters still. Like they have, like there are a few rooms, so I'm moving to not be intervening with people. Still at my sister though.
We've seen almost the whole house now.
For sure. The only place where I haven't talked to you yet is like from my dog's place, probably.
Cool. Let me see. I think this was already discussed. Suggestion to create a new category for A/B testing, splitting them off from feature flag with Orit that explained to me, and I believe in a 101, that we are limited by the amount of categories per stage. I see right here.
Yep.
It's kind of funny that we're limited, that it is that strict on that. But hey, if our hands are tied, our hands are tied.
I also don't think there's a good enough justification at the moment to fight it, because A/B testing currently doesn't exist, and our feature flag solution is so I don't see why not to tie them together. It's not like they're humongous like CD, where we can't get our heads around the jobs to be done, and it's just so enormous it'll take us a year to get through that. So in that sense, I think that it's okay to combine the two.
Awesome. All right, then on to the next one. I saw a mention, I didn't link it here, but I love being included on the direction page changes. You mentioned me somewhere in merge request, I think. I think it was on the change from the incremental rollout to being renamed to advanced deployments. And yeah, I would love to see that trend continue, include like product design everywhere in like those kind of changes, not to per se like in anything like approval kind of way, but more like informative way. Perhaps I can offer some additional like feedback, which might add a point here too. And also it's good for me to be more informed when dealing with the quarterly issues and those kind of things.
Sure.
Thanks for that. Can the UX kickoff be included in the official PM kickoff? So what we've started doing from this milestone onwards is, as the UX department, or at least verify and release, we've started creating a UX kickoff, which means that we're showcasing a little bit, telling a little bit about where we're busy with for the current milestone, even though that work might not directly touch implementation for the current milestone. And then we got feedback immediately. I think it was Hayana that got feedback that it might make sense to combine them and in that way expose it a little bit more. So I would love your thoughts about that. All right.
I don't really have an opinion, if that makes any sense. So there's two things that I'm a little bit hesitant on saying automatically yes. One of them is, I think that all the stages should probably be the same. So I think this is a great process change that should probably be decided by someone above me. So, someone who's in charge of all the stages, because I think it would be strange that only our stage would have like some kind of different format. So that's number one.
Fair enough point. Yeah.
And number two is, so I would love to say that our planning process is amazing, but usually I record the kickoff so late, I don't know how we could collaborate on that, because the kickoff needs to be recorded by the 18th. And usually up until now, not that I think it's good, we have been negotiating past the 18th. So I'm not sure logistically how that's going to happen. Like, I think it's a good idea. I'm just concerned about how.
Yeah. And so, San, like regarding your first concern, I think that's a very valid one. I don't think we should be doing anything differently, but if I think what we should try to do, if we will say that for 13.2, we try to do the kickoffs videos together, UX and PM, then we can, and probably Jason and Kenny will help bringing this to the other PMs as well, if that's going to be working out nicely. So I can help also taking care of that together with Jason and stuff, because initial feedback came from Jason and he thought, hey, I didn't like seeing two videos, similar content, and he thought it would be a cool way for us to collaborate between product management and user experience. And regarding the second one, what we are trying with Hayana and Juan for this, for the 13.2, for the next milestone, is that it's basically even should be helping the PMs, because the UX team, the user experience product designers, will record the issues that are UX heavy. So they will do the kickoff part for that. walking through, record that part, then the rest will be recorded by the PM, and then we will combine the videos. So like squeezing two. So basically you should be even less of a job for you. Yeah, probably it will be a little bit more work for designers in the beginning, because I can imagine they will need to make sure that they understand what they're talking also about, and you know, that it's more or less in the same format. But I think, well, it sounds pretty exciting, and I love the way that, you know, we will be even closer as the user experience and PMs there, and hopefully we will help each other. Yeah. So maybe we could also say, okay, let's try once for 13.2 and see how it goes. And then.
Okay.
In terms of the planning being delayed a little bit, is that mostly the video, or is it that also the planning itself is in that way a little bit late?
So I don't know, our planning process hasn't been smooth at all. We find out the spillover too late, and then I need to pull out issues, and I don't want to record issues that I know we're not going to work on. It's something that I talked about with Chase, and we're going to try again to fix this in 13.2, but I don't know. So far, this has been my experience. And for example, because we release on the 22nd every month, the timing of the day of the week is really crucial, because this time it was on Saturday, and I think the kickoff needed to be ready by Saturday, and I don't work on Friday, and there was like some holidays, so like there was a lot of reasons why people were off, and we couldn't really talk about the issues, and I was just waiting around for answers for like a really long time, and then I ended up just recording something without answers, which we ended up posting, which I wasn't very happy about. So I don't know, something's wrong with that process, but that's regardless to this specific issue.
Okay, that does make it a little bit hard to overcome that. So how do we suggest that we make this a reality? Like we both record a video and then we combine them and upload them to YouTube. Who will be uploading?
Yep.
Will you do the final
that's
upload?
what we've been doing.
All right.
I don't know, whoever's the last one.
Can you repeat one more thing? So the planning, like I'm looking for the dates here. The date that the planning is done, the date that the spillover comes in, then the date that the planning is revised, and then the date then the videos need to be up.
Okay, so the videos need to be up by the 18th. The planning issue, I added a date. This is the something we're trying to improve the process. So I added that it needs to be done by the 13th, which gives us 5 days basically to record the videos. So those are the dates.
Gotcha. Okay, that gives us a week to work with though.
And the spillover, the spillover is very, very tricky because we have a few different times where the code can be accepted. So there's an official code cutoff date. It changes like on the 15th, but I'm not sure. And basically we should know the majority of the issues then. But since we have deployments going once a day, I think Maren told me, there's additional time slots that things may be merged and they might not spill over. So it's really hard for us to figure out the spillover, and that's why it always comes in late.
Okay. One thing, because we didn't write down, the spillover often comes in at an uncertain point, you said?
Yeah. I'll add that. You can continue to the next point.
Yeah, already discussed this in the one-on-one with Orid, because I wasn't sure if I had included it in this meeting, yes or no, but we're going to use Dovetail going forward. Laurie has said to me earlier when we spoke about this that Sarah O'Donnell is working on handbook resource materials in order to make everybody proficient in this tool. Is that going well, that process, Laurie?
Yeah, I will put a link to the page in our agenda here. So she went ahead and pushed it. All of the researchers haven't used it yet. Like we're all in various stages of trying to use it for the first time. So we encourage everybody to get in there and poke around, figure out what you can do. There's a page that Dovetail has created that's got like a welcome to Dovetail video montage. And that's where they pointed me when I asked them for additional resources to share with my design and prep management team. So it's not bad. It's just not in depth, but it's enough to get you started. So Ori, you should have already gotten the invitation, I think last Thursday from.
I didn't notice. What?
Okay.
Who was I supposed to get it from?
I don't know if it's coming straight from Dovetail or if it came from. I think it comes straight from Dovetail, doesn't it, Dimitri? Is that how yours looked?
This is how
Sorry?
I've got it. It comes directly from the tool, yeah, the invite.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Sarah joins. So here's the problem with all these emails. Like I wasn't expecting this, and then there's like another security don't open issues from unrecognized things.
No.
It's really hard to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it. I have it.
Okay, and well, let me know if it doesn't work, but you should be able to get in. So we're going to use that now. The biggest change is that's where we're going to be putting our insights. Mm-hmm. So no longer Orate will you have to put them into our insights repo. We're actually using Dovetail to store them. So it's easier to make them because Dovetail will help you to tag things that, what is it, like frequency, like, oh, 5 people said something about this and this is what they said. So you can go back and look at those 5 things and go, ooh, that's good. And then you can tag it as an insight appropriately. And so it kind of attaches itself to that project as an insight moving forward. So, and that's the extent of my knowledge of how it works. I really need to get in there and play around. Okay.
Sounds good. Happy to try that out going forward, especially if it takes automate some of the stuff, right? Then if there's no further comments, let's jump on to, I think, my last point for this one. Earlier today, I had a discussion with Marcel and Nadia on UX depth and UI polish. I think I filled you in, Orid. I asked previously on the triage issues, like, hey, what do you think about including UX depth and UI polish? After doing some investigation, apparently UX depth was already included. However, UI polish was not, and I did some experimentation and created a merge request to include that as well. And additionally, heat maps are now included. So triage report is a little bit more extensive, though it looks very clean for progressive
Monday.
Delivery. Yeah, it's pretty nice. However,
yeah, we're also doing great on bugs too.
Yeah, it's
There's
very
only
nice.
2 P2 bugs, and we're done. Then we can go to the next priority. Yeah.
Awesome. Happy to set that trend forward. So the thing that what I wanted to discuss briefly is what is your process in terms of the triage reports? Because this is like we have them, and I'd say from my point of view, it's like there for us to make sure issues are triaged and we maintain, the balance. But I saw that, for example, the last triage report for progressive delivery was already, like you've done some things and you closed the issue, and because I was looking for the issue and then I couldn't find it because it was already closed. So it's like, hey, where's this issue? Exactly.
So that's a great question. So basically, what I do there in the report is it basically tells me everything that doesn't have a milestone scheduled. And so I look into it and I schedule a milestone. Now, 90% of the time, I'm going to put it in the backlog. I think the only time that we're actually going to schedule a milestone for those issues is during the planning, when you suggest specific issues for planning, or if something comes up and you think it's really critical. But as long as it looks like a P4 and something like that, then it's going to stay there. I mean, I read through the issues. I even commented on one of them. One of the issues was something Hayana had opened like 11 months ago about the fact that there's a box that doesn't look right on one of the message boxes, which we're going to work on anyway. So I asked to see if we can combine the two in terms of work. But really, 90% of the time, I'm going to put it in the backlog. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think there's an additional process we're trying to adhere to, is that, from the UX department perspective, we're trying each stage group to at least see if we can, push one UX stat issue, perhaps also UI polish issue every release, and that way dwindle it down, right?
Great. So 100% I'm with you on that. And that's why I said, let's push them on the planning issue. Keep in mind that at the moment, we only have one front-end engineer, so it's going to be hard to do everything. However, once the new front-end engineer comes, which is rumored to be this month sometime, we can push probably a bunch of UX polish and and easy onboarding issues, so we can get a lot done. So I think it's good to groom that and see if there's quick wins that we can achieve there.
Amazing.
But with one front-end engineer, I don't think we'll be able to maintain a one UX polish plus one UX that we can't sustain that. And
that's clear. It's kind of like, we understand. It's a nice guideline, but if you don't have resources, that's obvious.
Yeah.
Are there plans to increase the front-end engineering availability for progressive delivery?
So only one, and that only happened because Sarah moved over to CI, and I made a lot of noise. They didn't want to backfill her, and I was like, I can't work like this, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we got the backfill. So progressive delivery does have more back-end work than front-end. So I think that the ratio for 2 is okay. Unless we come up with something really cool, Dimitri, and then we can push for more hires.
Sounds like a challenge. All right, thanks for that. Very clear. And then on to Nadia.
Yeah, final point, more as FYI. I think Valerie, Dimitri, we have been talking with you on that. I also just wanted to update Lori on that, we have been working to adjust a little bit the way how we plan the UX work and the research work as well. So we have a few issues that we have updated, and some of those we have added. So for example, we have added the UX labels to the quarterly priorities issues to mark those UX things that we need to focus on. I think the same we should do for research, actually, maybe using the same label. I don't know, just like to give us some visual visibility for things that need our attention in the quarter. In milestones planning, we had added a clear section for UX work where we are like adding the issues that we will tackle in that milestone. We also have created a need UX review issue. It's similar, Hayana, to the release management one, where Reed, Dimitri, and sometimes Mike will be like, discussing the upcoming UX work that's not really clear at this moment. And possibly assigning that to a milestone, or possibly aligning on the first kind of estimation numbers there. And also we've been talking about, giving a good attention to the needs weight issue for the engineering. I guess the plan for Dimitri and Reed walk through those, on a monthly basis to make sure that we, as UX, we're not blocking anyone in engineering from doing any work. So this is kind of more FYI items, just adding a little bit more visibility to the UX issues in planning. If any questions, let me know. Muting myself because there is a car.
Yeah,
No,
thanks. Nothing,
everyone's on mute.
nothing more to add for me.
What was that, Orit?
I said everyone's on mute.
Yeah, I think so. Dimitri or Reed, I think you have been discussing this already, so should be nothing new. But just wanted to kind of align that. We are, by the way, with Dimitri's help, we are working to bring the same in CI, and actually release management will be also similar. So it sounds like we're even more or less like going to be using similar practices between PM and UX in the stage groups in the release and verify, which is cool, I think.
All right.
Cool.
I can look into the separate section for research to highlight a little bit more. But like not a super priority right now, but I think nice to do to look into later. Then that was it. Thank you so much. And I'll give you back
Wow, good
15 minutes
job.
of our time.
Woohoo!
Ooh.
That haven't happened in a while.
And that with like quite a lot of items as well.
Let's keep it this way. Love it.
Exactly. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.